demographics survey that we conducted from our class, I can guarantee you that all of us study. We use books. Maybe it's reasoning and insight, or a psychology book. May even be nursing or mathematics, but we all study, which leads me to believe that we all need study food. What I'm talking about? Brain food. My powerful brain snack? Chewy chocolate chip cookies and a tall glass of milk. Can't beat that with a stick. It's delicious, and I can teach you how to make chewy chocolate chip cookies. I've made many cookies over the life of my kitchen, and I can tell you that they come out with varying success. You might end up with a hockey puck. You might even be able to use it at a Flyers game, or possibly a dry, puffy, cake-like cookie. Neither one of those are real acceptable solutions to a chewy chocolate chip cookie. I've come across a recipe by a man named Alton Brown with the Food Network. His actual show is called Good Eats. He has a cookie called The Chewy. If you Google those words, The Chewy, you will come up with his recipes on the internet. What I can tell you is that they are delicious. Never fail cookies. By never fail, I mean they always get an ooh and an ah. They are delicious cookies that you can't get wrong as long as you follow the recipe. If you get your recipe off the back of a chocolate chip bag, you might find that they come out like hockey pucks or dry cake-like cookies. Either way, not a good solution. This recipe differs with its science and cooking to come up with a few variances that make the cookies delicious. I'm going to break it down into 4 easy steps to follow to get a chewy chocolate chip cookie. First step is that you have to preheat the oven. The oven temperature is important because if you have the temperature too high, you're going to burn the bottom of the cookie, thus creating a hockey puck, not good eats. Or possibly you'll get a temperature too low and have to have the cookie remain in the oven for a longer period of time, thus drying out the cookie. This makes not good cookies. What we want is more moisture in our cookies to create a very good chewy chocolate chip cookie. So now we're going to go with step 2. Step 2 involves some ingredients that differ a little bit from a regular recipe. First, you have 2 sticks of butter. Why butter? Because better ingredients always make a better cookie. Then you melt the butter. Why melt the butter? Because it releases the water content of the butter. When you combine the water content with some of the other ingredients, it creates more moisture. More moisture equals a chewier cookie. Next, we have 2.5 cups of bread flour. Why bread flour? It contains more protein. When you combine that with the water in the butter, it absorbs more moisture, therefore making it a chewier cookie. The next couple of ingredients are pretty standard. You have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Next, you're going to add the sugars. You have 1/4 cup white sugar and 1 1/4 cup brown sugar. Why all the brown sugar? Because of the molasses. The darker the sugar, the more molasses. Molasses actually absorbs water from the air. If you bring more molasses to your cookies, it brings more moisture to your cookies, equaling a chewier cookie. The next ingredient you have is your eggs. You need 1 egg yolk and 1 whole egg. Why not 2 whole eggs? Because whites actually dry your cookie out. It is a drying agent in baking. So instead of adding a second egg, just the yolk will do. That adds more moisture to your cookie, therefore a chewier cookie. Next, you need 2 tablespoons of milk. That also adds moisture to your cookies. Then you would add the 1½ teaspoons vanilla. More moisture for your cookies. The final ingredient, of course, is your bag of chocolate chips, equaling 2 cups. If you add these ingredients, stirring the wet ingredients first, and then adding the dry ingredients, you will come up with a chewier chocolate chip cookie. Next, we move on to the last step. This step is that you need to cook the cookies. How do we cook the cookies? Glad you asked. First, you start off with chilling the dough for 1/2 hour. This keeps the moisture in the cookie. Then, you would cook them for 10 to 12 minutes at 375. Remember, temperature is important. Too high, you burn the cookies. Too low, you keep the cookie in the oven too long and dry it out. We don't want that, because moisture cookies equals a chewier cookie. Then, the last thing you need to do is figure out how to store your cookies. An airtight container after they've cooled make a great storing container for your cookies. Hey, who ate all the cookies? Okay, if you have any left, use an airtight container. Now you know how to make the best chocolate chip cookies ever. I guarantee even the skeptics will like this cookie. My daughter, who does not like chocolate chip cookies, up until this recipe, will eat a whole batch if you let her. These are the only chocolate chip cookies she'll eat. I have never failed to have someone ask me for the recipe, and I guarantee you, chocolate chip is a pretty popular cookie. In the words of Dan Guerrera of Downtime Cookie Company, there are lots of fancy cookies out there, but across the board, people prefer the authentic taste of the original chocolate chip cookie. He has a survey to back this up. Out of 1,033 people polled, 53% of them prefer chocolate chip cookies. So now you have a choice. You can eat them all yourself while you're studying, or you can choose to share them. If you do, you will take the guesswork out of whether or not they'll come out well, and you will never receive a return hockey puck because you made a bad cookie. So, as I've told you, remember, the key ingredient is moisture in your cookies to make a chewy chocolate chip cookie. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your cookies as much as I do. Here are my note cards. They are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5.